And we are back with supply drop number 34. This is a community focused on outdoor, tactical, EDC, people who care about preparedness. So if you like cool stuff, you like to be prepared, you like to have useful tools around you that ultimately make you a more useful human being, then I think that you're gonna be interested in what is inside this box. This is the 34th iteration of Crate Club. So that's 34 different unique crates that we've sent out. All of them are completely custom. We handpick what goes inside, and this stuff matters. So I am a veteran, former Army guy, so I know a little bit about tactical stuff, but even as a civilian now, I very, very much care about day-to-day preparedness. I'm not walking around with like 6 pockets full of random EDC supplies, but I do have the essentials on me. I keep the essentials in my car, in my house, in my wife's purse. I've got stuff for me, I've got stuff for her, I've got stuff for the dogs. Little stuff matters. And I think a lot of people don't think about it until it's too late. So the whole goal here is not to like scare anybody into like joining the club. Fear should not be your motivator. I think preparedness and having this survival mentality, you're gonna be the one that other people depend on in the event of an emergency. And that's sort of what motivates me to stay prepared and make sure that I have the necessary tools on me at the right time in the right place. So without further ado, let's check out supply drop number 34. So this is actually not the box that we shipped supply drop number 34 in. This is my display box. It's nice and pretty. There's no tape or packaging or damage to this box. And I've been doing my best to keep it pristine, purely for the visual aesthetics of these unboxings. So if your box didn't look like this, it's a different color, different shape, don't worry about it. This is just my nice, pretty display box. So we're gonna start out with a wonderful item here from MyMedic, and it's called the MyFac. Individual first aid kits, also known as IFACs, were popularized by the US military in the early 2000s. The idea was for every service member to have a first aid kit on them at all times that was small enough to be carried on countless missions, but not so large that it was cumbersome for the carrier. These kits contained only the absolute essentials and were tailored to the types of injuries that front lines units were most likely to encounter. Our friends at MyMedic have modernized the traditional IFAC with what they call the MyFac. The MyFac is a comprehensive and compact first aid kit designed to provide you with everything you need in the event of an emergency. With dozens of first aid materials inside that address a wide range of medical emergencies, the MyFac should be your go-to first aid survival kit. I apologize for the dogs in the background if you can hear that. There's a guy who sprays the exterior of our home in order to prevent bugs from getting in. And they love barking at him, even though he comes every single month, and he's nice, and he pets them, and they love him, but they have to bark at him like he's a threat. And he's also sitting here watching me talk to a camera, like a weirdo. So here is MyMedic's IFAC, also known as the MyFac. All right, bottom line up front, this is a little bit aggressive if you want to compare it to the traditional IFAC. Traditionally, all soldiers have IFACs that they carry on them, whether it's your hip or your vest. And again, it just contains the essentials, right? Like what types of injuries are you most likely to encounter on the battlefield? You're gonna have tourniquets, you're gonna have gauze, you're gonna have bleed stop. It's not gonna be filled with like ibuprofen and Band-Aids, right? It's gonna be for more severe situations. That being said, this thing is very much tailored to be the ultimate individual first aid kit for everyday preparedness. People, civilians, friends and family, this is gonna be a fantastic first aid kit for you to keep inside your house. So you actually do have MOLLE paneling on the back here if you're gonna go full bore and like actually wear this certain places. You can also pull the MOLLE paneling off the back, and inside you have a shoulder strap that can be used to carry it, a number of different ways. But if you don't want to use that, I'm probably gonna keep this thing hidden. I'm never gonna expose that part. I just like to keep the MOLLE paneling on there and keep that strap tucked away so it's nice and clean and convenient. So on the inside, there is so much stuff crammed in here. By the way, like, I don't speak about the monetary value of our crates very often because it's not the selling point. Like, oh, you pay 200 bucks for a major crate and we give you $210 worth of supplies, right? That's just not our selling point. What we're trying to get at is that this stuff matters. We're giving you quality things. And yes, at the end of the day, you're getting much more in retail value than what you're paying for the box, because we're putting in the work to get these deals from these suppliers and stick it in the crate for you. This is a $200 box. We have 6 items in total here, but the MyFac alone retails for $170. We gave you a $170 first aid kit as just one of 6 components in your $200 Crate Club box. If you don't see the value, I can't help you. Check it out. On the inside, you have dozens. I tried to count. You have about 100 different items on the inside, right? We don't want to go through every single different item that's inside here, right? We'd be here all day. But the idea here is that this is a very comprehensive first aid kit. On the inside, you'll notice, if you're not familiar with My Medic, like, we love those guys. I've met the owner, the founder. I'm close with the president of marketing. Like, the whole team over there is just phenomenal. I love their products. I love the quality of the packaging, the quality of the pouches that carry their supplies. And I think that they put a lot of time and energy and thought into what goes inside of these first aid kits. But anyway, they call all the individual packs mods. For example, this is the burn mod. So in the event that you encounter some sort of burn victim, you don't have to like sift through here and be like, what's for burn? I don't know, I'm freaking out. You just open up the burn mod and everything's gonna be orange. So logically, you know, burn mod orange, just find the orange thing. Similarly, if someone's dehydrated or you're simply trying to prevent dehydration, what makes sense for hydration mod? The color blue. I think it's very smart. So again, you have a very wide variety of first aid items here. Everything from the burn mod to a space blanket for treatment and relief. Right back here is the gauze mod. You have super skin, you have shears, you have nitrile gloves. And you do have like the standard stuff in here like band-aids and whatnot. By the way, I mean, no one cares, right? But there was a tiny little splinter in my hand last week, and I utilized a My Medic bandage for the first time in a long time, and I forgot how nice they are. It kind of feels weird, like as an adult being like, man, these are nice band-aids, but they were really nice band-aids. I think the old cheap ones are like, they're kind of plasticky, they don't stick very well. Since this was in the crease of my hand, it actually, theirs is made of like a woven fabric material that is very, very sticky, and it worked perfect for my little splinter situation. But they're fabricy, they're very soft, and they're sticky, and they're comfortable, and they're black, which, you know, who cares about the color of your Band-Aid? But they have black, and they have like an OD green. So if there is such thing as a comfortable yet tactical Band-Aid, My Medic has it. There was one particular mod in here that I wanted to pull out. Oh, it's the treatment and relief mod. This one mod alone has 16 subcomponents, which is kind of wild when you think about it. So very comprehensive. There's a wide variety of products here, and like if it's just your, oh, here's those Band-Aids. You can kind of see the fabricy material with the black on it. Like, I can't say enough good things. It's a first aid kit, but it's also a phenomenally and well thought out first aid kit. Huge shout out to My Medic. We love those guys. If you've been with us for a while, you've received products from them in the past, and if you continue to be a member of Crick Club, you're probably gonna get more from My Medic in the future. So I love the products, I love the packaging, I love the thought that goes into them. Shout out to My Medic. But that is only one of 6 items that we have to get to today. I'm actually in the process of selling my house and moving somewhere significantly quieter, so I'm looking forward to that so I don't have to talk over ambulances and sirens and everything else that blows past my house throughout the day. I live right next to a hospital, which could be convenient. 2 times it was very convenient, but we're gonna go somewhere quieter. Up next is a product from Tactica called the X100. Tactica's X100 Survival Lighter. The X100 Survival Lighter is engineered for extreme reliability in hostile environments. Constructed from high-impact, weather-resistant materials, this lighter is built to withstand the harshest conditions. At 3.2 inches in height and made from zinc construction, the X100's robust design ensures a consistent flame even in high winds and wet conditions, making it a critical tool for any survival kit. Featuring a lanyard hole, a replaceable flint, a waterproof O-ring, the X100 is a multi-purpose solution for both survival scenarios and day-to-day use. This lighter uses standard lighter fluid and paraffin wax-coated cotton and will become an indispensable asset for outdoor enthusiasts and tactical operators alike. I like Tactica a lot. Tactica is starting to get to the point where their designs are so unique that you could hand me an unbranded Tactica product and I would know who made that based off their design. When it comes to lighters and pocket knives and all sorts, they make multi-tools. Everything sort of has a theme to it. If you go on their website, you can tell that all of the products are sort of drawn from the same engineering line of thought. I like it a lot, but here's your X100. You don't open it like a standard box, you just open it like a little book, and here you go, your lighter's on the inside. So of course, it will ship to you dry. You need to put lighter fluid in it yourself, which I have already done. Super easy, you just pop this bad boy open, your flint wheel is right on top. If you pull this out, you'll actually notice one little hidden feature on the inside, which is this guy right here. This actually serves as a secondary fire starter in the event that you need one. You don't ever need it, it just stays hidden inside the little capsule, and I thought that was kind of a cool plus. Here is your actual lighter. If you unscrew the bottom, you'll see this is where you pour the lighter fluid on the inside. Don't overdo it. Let it soak, let it sit for a minute, and this is what your lighter looks like. It's gonna light up super easy. It is very reminiscent of a Zippo lighter, but it's Tactica's version. So Some great things going on here. It is very robust. You do have a solid rubber O-ring around the outside. When this thing is sealed properly, it is legitimately waterproof. I think we actually tested this a few months ago before considering throwing it in our box, where I just threw the whole thing into a bowl of water, let it sit for a minute, and I pulled it back out, and of course it lights up just fine. Another cool, interesting advantage here is that it's self-sustaining. Once you light it, you can actually sit it upright and use the flame and then start to light things on fire as it's just sort of sitting here. I like it. It's not an uncommon feature, but it's something that a lot of people don't think about, that you can be using this flame in this way. But it's a super solid product, and you can you can simply blow out the flame, or you can screw the cap back on. You do have a loop here where you could hook it onto your belt loop or your backpack or whatever camping supplies you have going on with you. But that's the X100 from Tactical. Check out the styling on this thing. Can you see the word Tactical on there? They come in both silver and orange. The test lighter that I got a few months back, I think, was the orange one, and then I ended up with silver this time, which I like a lot. Cast zinc construction. That's the X100. Up next, I have another very interesting small EDC item, and that is the Griffin Pocket Tool. The Mini Griffin Pocket Tool is a precision-crafted multi-tool designed for tactical versatility. Weighing in at just 14 grams and constructed from high-grade stainless steel, this pocket-sized tool combines durability with functionality. It features a variety of tools, including a bottle opener, screwdriver, scoring tool, pry tool, and multiple wrenches, all engineered for rapid deployment and reliable performance. Its compact form ensures easy carry and accessibility, making it a vital addition to any tactical or everyday carry setup. You can even grind the blade edge down to sharpen it and customize the tool to your specific demands. Whether in the field or on the go, the Mini Griffin Pocket Tool is designed to meet your day-to-day needs. It's gonna come in this nice little box here. Pull it out of the box, and this is what you get. Can you see that? Look how tiny this thing is. 14 grams, and if you're not careful, you're gonna lose it. But I think that that's what makes this so interesting, is that it's so small, it's so simple, there's no moving parts, it's one solid piece of construction. But it can actually help you in a pretty wide variety of situations. You've got bottle opener, pocket clip, chisel, knife tip, pry tool, scoring tool, flathead screwdriver, 1/4-inch bit driver, and wrench, 5/16 hex wrench, and a 11/32 hex wrench. All right, look, I know that 5/16 and 11/32 are not the most common sizes out there. Now, you could argue that that makes this thing not very useful, or you could make the argument that it makes it very useful because you probably don't have those sizes in your standard hex wrench kit. So I like this thing because it is so itty-bitty. 14 grams, you can throw this in your pocket and you're not really gonna notice that it's there. You do have a little space here where you could loop a carabiner, or in this case, an S-biner through it. You could hook it onto your keychain, you could hook it onto your belt loop, whatever it is, right? But it's just so useful because it's so small and it's so sturdy. Personally, my favorite feature is the pry tool on the side here. When you look at this teeny tiny little edge, and this is the one we mentioned, you could actually file it down and make it sharp. Think about every scenario in which you use your thumbnail for something. You might to try to get it up under the lid of a can, or you're trying to scrape the gunk off of, or you're trying to like scrape some glue gunk off the surface of something, right? How many times do you use your fingernails like doing a teeny tiny job, opening packages, whatever it is, right? Instead of reaching for your fingernail, doesn't really make sense. Instead of utilizing your fingernail, you could use the Griffin Mini Pocket Tool. It's just good for scraping, it's good for getting gunk off, good for gaining access to nuts and bolts that may be sort of corroded. I like this thing because it's tiny, because it's sturdy, and because it allows me to not destroy my fingernails and thumbnails from scraping stuff off of gross corroded surfaces. Super cool item. Griffin actually offers 3 or 4 different sizes. This is their smallest one, and I'm just now noticing that it says TSA safe on the outside, which implies that I'm gonna have to take this through an airport at some point. You know, we've offered a lot of TSA safe products, and every single time it has actually turned out to be TSA safe, but inevitably somebody comments and they're like, this is not actually TSA safe, or I tried to take this through so-and-so airport and they held me up for it. So on multiple occasions, I've had to take items through TSA just to see if it's actually truly TSA approved, and we're batting 1,000 right now. We've been right every single time, but I guess that means I'm gonna have to take this through TSA at some point and risk getting stopped for carrying unnecessary tools into an airport. I get it. All right, I got more stuff to show you. Rescue Me Whistles for Life. If you can be heard, you can be rescued. Whistles for Life offers a compact, high-decibel signaling solution crucial for emergency situations. Able to produce sounds up to 120 decibels, this whistle is ideal for campers, hunters, rock climbers, professional rescuers, or even as a form of self-defense during dates or social situations. These whistles have 3 chambers which loudly emit sound in 3 different directions. They are engineered for maximum loudness and durability. and ensure that your distress signal is heard even in challenging conditions. The rugged, lightweight construction is ideal for inclusion in survival kits, tactical gear, or as a standalone signaling device. Featuring a corrosion-resistant design and simple operation, the Whistles for Life is a reliable choice for both outdoor adventurers and the average day-to-day prepper. All right, look, we sent you a whistle. Don't underestimate the power of being able to produce sound. So I gave this thing a little test spin. Yeah, it's loud AF. 120 decibels. All right, let's try to put that in perspective. So I had read that police sirens are approximately 120 decibels. With this little plastic whistle and your breath, you can produce sounds as loud as a police siren. That's freaking loud, right? So imagine that you're lost in the woods. If you're able to produce sounds up to 120 decibels as if you were a police car driving through the woods, someone's gonna find you, right? That is going to carry so far, especially in somewhere that's as quiet as like the woods, right? Alternatively, don't picture yourself lost in the woods. Imagine that you're stuck on the side of the road for whatever reason, right? Maybe your car broke down, or maybe you're trying to help someone else whose car broke down, but you need to create sound in order to draw attention to yourself and alert other drivers of the situation that's happening, right? Let's be honest, a lot of drivers are not paying attention. That's why you need something loud to make sure that they know where you are or what you're trying to do, right? I think they say like jet engines are like 130 decibels. Anything past 85 decibels over a long period of time can actually cause hearing damage, but I'm just trying to emphasize how loud this thing is. The first time I blew it, I was not covering my ears and my ears were ringing afterwards. So the second time I blew it, I actually plugged my ears to see how loud I could really get this thing. My dogs were inside, I was outside, and I could hear them howling on the inside of the house. So this thing is incredibly loud. We also mentioned self-defense, which I think is such a unique way to approach EDC, right? So if you are a person that is particularly scared about going places by yourself, which I totally understand, the world is unfortunately more dangerous than ever in some ways, but you want to have something to draw attention to yourself or deter a potential assailant, blow this thing in their ears. They are not going to want to mess with you. I know it's not a 9mm, but it's a really, really good way of taking something somewhere where a 9mm weapon can't go. If you blow this, one, it's going to deter the person from attacking you. Two, it's going to draw attention to the situation. Anyone within like a quarter mile, maybe even a half mile in an urban scenario is going to hear this whistle go off. Whether or not they decide to come rescue you, I don't know, that's a different conversation. But at least you are trying to draw attention to yourself and you are your own first line of defense. And maybe, just maybe, it starts with this whistle from Rescue Me. Cool beans, we've got 2 more items to show you, and that's gonna wrap up supply drop number 34. The Camelus Glide Sharpener. The Camelus Glide Sharpener is a paragon of versatility. Knives, shears, and hooks can all be sharpened with its myriad of notches and channels, providing exceptional edges for countless blade designs and materials. Boasting a multi-angle carbide sharpener, a V-notch ceramic sharpener, V-notch carbide sharpener, 20, 30, and 45-degree shear sharpeners, as well as a fish hook sharpening groove, you can have nearly all of your gear operating at peak performance with a single tool. The unparalleled versatility afforded by the Glide Sharpener goes beyond just its sharpening capabilities. This sharpener is also equipped with T6, T8, T9, and T10 drivers, and a flathead screwdriver. The Glide Sharpener is a must-have for outdoorsmen, craftsmen, and survivalists alike. With this tool, you'll never have to worry about separate sharpening solutions again. This is it. This is the entirety of that sharpening system. So let's, again, perspective matters, right? If you're a chef and you're trying to sharpen your high-end Japanese chef's knives before like cutting sushi or something, this is not the solution for that, right? Could it make it sharper? Yeah, but like the idea here is to have a multi-tool of sharpeners accessible to you that can go in your pocket, in a backpack, in a bug-out bag, maybe in a tackle box if you're a fisherman, right? Because this does have the ability to sharpen fish hooks. So you do have these 3 different options here in the center. These are specifically designed for sharpening shears, and then you have the actual blade sharpeners around the outside of the product. What's also interesting is that you have these Torx bits here on the outside, and the reason that those are there is not so this replaces your whole toolbox, but if you notice, many pocket knives actually are assembled with Torx bit screws. So in the event I needed to disassemble this for maintenance or whatever, I actually have the tools necessary to take it apart. And also, if you want to sharpen the thing, depending on how rough your blade edge is, you'll probably start with the carbide side. You don't need to add a whole lot of pressure. Usually just the pressure of the knife is enough. If it's really goofed up, then maybe you apply a pound of pressure. But you're gonna start dragging this blade through the carbide side, and also, even better, they've got an arrow for you there so you know which direction to drag the blade. Start with the carbide side. If it's rough, give it a few drags, it'll start to smooth that on its own. Once you've gotten the majority of those rough edges smoothed out, you can then transition to the ceramic side, drag it through a few times. Really just 5 to 10 is like all you need. That's all I needed anyway. And now you have a sharpened blade edge. And if you look closely in there, you can actually see some small metal shavings just to prove that this thing is doing what it's supposed to do. So if you like to freehand the way you sharpen blades, you actually have a carbide edge here and a large ceramic edge here that you could use to freehand your sharpening, to freehand sharpen your blade edges. Some people prefer this because you can control the angle at which you sharpen. I'm not the world's most talented knife sharpener, but I can get it done. That's nice. So this groove here on the outside of the ceramic edge is actually, see that groove? This groove is actually what you can use to sharpen fish hooks. Super interesting. So you've got multiple tools here for disassembling, reassembling, and sharpening your blade edge. Again, this is a great option just for throwing in your bag. It's like a set it and forget it type of sharpener, right? If you want to sharpen your high-end chef's knives on here, like give it a go, let us know how it works. But that was not really the intended purpose of this knife sharpener. It's supposed to be something you can throw in a backpack, throw in a tackle box, take it with you to go, and in the event you're out in the field and you need to sharpen your blade edge, you're not gonna whip out your whetstone, but you might have this, and this is all you really need. So speaking of knives, you know we're kind of a knife community around here, and the sixth and final item inside supply drop number 34 is indeed a knife. Designed by Jens Anzo, the Fox Italy Zero 2.0 Desert Warrior is a precision-engineered tactical folder designed for optimal performance in desert and arid environments. Featuring an N690 CO stainless steel blade, a fiberglass reinforced nylon handle, and a deep carry pocket clip, this knife delivers exceptional cutting power and control. The Desert Warrior's design incorporates a gray camouflage finish and multiple tactical enhancements, making it both a functional tool and a strategic asset. Whether used for field operations, survival scenarios, or as daily carry, the Desert Warrior combines durability with tactical excellence. It has been a minute since we have featured Fox knives. Fox Knives is also another one of those brands that we have a great relationship with. I have met the owners. They are incredibly nice. They make so many knives. I don't think the average consumer actually realizes how many knives Fox Knives produces. And I think they also make a lot of knives for other brands that the average consumer is just not aware of. But that just goes to prove how good Fox Knives is at making knives when other people are asking them to make their knives for them. So here you go. This is the Desert Warrior. It's a folder. It actually has this hole on the outside, which is reminiscent of another brand that I will not mention, but we featured them before. Phenomenal brand. I'm not gonna pretend like this is that brand, but the functionality of the hole here is similar to that other brand. So you've got like the blade itself is 2.76 inches in length, and then the entire blade when it's opened up is 6.3 inches. So I'd say it's on the smaller side. I like smaller EDCs. They just don't take up as much space in your pocket. This is a XXXIV product. Very, very comparable in size when it's closed up. I think this XXXIV is gonna be longer. Yeah, deep carry pocket clip. You have these nice FRN textured scales on the outside. They call it the Desert Warrior. It definitely has like this vibe. It looks like it was sort of influenced by like deserty mountains. This knife comes in at just under 2 ounces. Incredibly light. It feels very sturdy. It is very sharp. Sort of a unique shape of the blade here. It's kind of a teardrop shape, but I love the feel of it. Jens Anzo, designed in Italy. I've actually come across that name a few times before. I know that designer has a relationship with Fox Knives, but it's a great EDC option. It's a tip-up carry. You can also see the Torx bits holding this one together. And in the event that you need to sharpen your brand new Fox Knives Desert Warrior, you actually already have the tool to disassemble and sharpen that thing when you're ready. So yeah, you've got these super nice FRN scales that have a texture to them. It actually looks cool with the shadows there. It almost looks like an elevation map, like a topographical map that shows changes in elevation. It almost looks like the actual desert waves you would see in like a very sandy or arid environment, which is kind of cool. Not sure if that was on purpose, but it probably is. But that is the last item in supply drop number 34. Like I said, we've got 6 total items here. One in particular was $170 in retail value. I'm not here to pitch you like the retail value of this stuff, because at the end of the day, retail value is not what's gonna save somebody's life or get you out of a sticky situation. It's gonna be the quality of the tools that you have and the knowledge to know how to use them. And that's kind of what we stand for here at Crate Club. So we care about the end user, we think about who's gonna be using this stuff and the types of situations that they might find themselves in, and then we think about what tools are gonna be most useful in those scenarios. So I hope you enjoyed it. That wraps up supply drop number 34. If you're not already a member, please consider joining us. There's 4 different levels to joining Crate Club. There's the lieutenant, the captain, the major, and the general. There's a price point out there for everyone, but what's gonna be true is that all 4 tiers are gonna offer you something valuable. It's gonna be equipment that you will definitely use. Maybe not every day, maybe not every single week, but it's gonna be stuff that you will wish you had at some point. Especially considering, you know, the climate of the world right now, and I mean that literally and figuratively. Crazy stuff's happening. We just survived yet another hurricane, and a lot of people are in a very rough situation right now. So I hope that someone finds the use for some of these tools out there. And if you haven't acquired your own, please consider subscribing. That wraps it up for now. My name's Austin, and we'll see you soon.